In this video, we're going to look at a combination of functions when we have something more than just an x. So if we've got two variables or a more complex input into our functions, what might that look like? So this is going to be a little bit more of a challenge. As always, try to figure it out on your own. But we got two examples here. We got f of x plus h and f of x plus f of h. So see if you can kind of figure out what those should look like. So if you noticed, remember our sum combination here. If we're adding two functions together, so f plus g of x, that's our combination. That's adding the two separate functions together and just combining like terms, right? So we might think of that with this example. X plus h is the input. So we only have one function here, f. It's actually the input where there's a sum. So this x plus h simply becomes our input into our f function, and so we put x plus h into each of those. No, that's not what I wanted. So we just end up with f of x plus h is equal to, and I'm going to substitute x plus h in for wherever we see x in our equation, plus 2, and I make sure to put parentheses around it. Okay, so we can see now x squared becomes x plus h quantity squared, and 2 times x becomes 2 times x plus h. And so we can't really, we could write all this out. We could multiply there. Let's go ahead and do that. So we get, I'm going to see if I can copy this. X, oh nice. X plus, and we're going to end up with, oh no, still in the exponent. Okay, try this again. Should know better than to make these videos on a Monday. Okay, so we're going to end up with h times x, and we're going to have two of them. And then we end up with h squared. And then once we distribute that 2, we get 2x and 2h. And then we can, we don't have any like terms right here, right? So the only other thing we could do is just rewrite this in a different order where it's alphabetical and largest degree is first. But you kind of get the idea. It's not really a combination function here because it's actually the input where there's a sum. Okay, this one here, even though it's the same function, f, this is a sum because we're doing the sum of f of x plus f of h. So in this case, now we end up with x squared plus 2x, and that's going to be that whole thing, I could put parentheses around that whole thing, is going to be added to h squared plus 2h. Right, so I plugged in x as our input for each of these, which is just the same, and then I plug in h as our input, and it's going to be similar to what we have up here. We just aren't going to have this 2hx.